Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take, for Sunday night, August the 24th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I am so glad to be back. I missed you. I hope you missed me too. I skipped one show because I went golfing on Wednesday, so therefore I did not do a third show last week. I did not do a Thursday show, and I want to tell you quickly about my week. It was a good week. I want to quickly and then get into our discussion. And I'm gonna try. Well, you guys are very nice here. We got a FCC fresh cut Clay. Thank you. We got a nice shave Clay. Thank you. We got a we all miss you Clay. Thank you. We got a looking like Kobe with that cut Clay. 820. That's right. Kobe Bryant Day. 824. His two famous numbers. Thank you. Either that's a golf shirt or Dollywall style shirt. No, if you look closely, these are a bunch of fairways and greens. So yes, I am wearing a golf shirt for sure. Speaking of new, Clay looking fresh. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Thanks for the compliments. I really appreciate it. And then Swerve and Irvin just dropped a monthly membership message. So I will get to all of that in a second. Thank you, Shannon. Welcome back, Clay. Thank you, Brian Blingy Choi. Meetup was last Sunday. It was exactly a week ago from right now, Gary. I was thinking about that today with my lovely wife, Gail. We were reminiscing that a week ago today, we were at Brian's rooftop for an awesome meetup. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legends, Hall of Fame and franchise members, thank you for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, lower mainland, province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you're here with me, know how much I always appreciate you, and how much I never, ever take you for granted. And Swerve and Irvin, just for you. Okay, hopefully that came through, and that didn't sound disgusting. This is how you get involved tonight, you guys. You can subscribe to the channel, get active in the chat section, get notified of my videos every single day. You can like the video, like the fact that we're together, like the fact that I got a brand new haircut, brand new golf shirt, and I did not rupture my other Achilles when I was golfing, but I'll get to that in a second. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. Actually, many of you already have done that. We'll do that, recognize that in a second. Gift a membership, buy your membership, upgrade a membership, use your monthly membership message, and if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Hey, Adrian, not just JT Miller. There's Miller on here. There's PD. There's Demko. There's Hughes. So that a core four before Miller got traded away. Okay, so I will get to Filip Chytil within 5 minutes. So anyone who complains, all this guy talks about is non-Canuck stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen you guys in a few days. So let's kind of honor those that I can honor first. Before I got on here, Swerve and Irvin actually, way back at 4:42 p.m., he gave me a $7 donation, and he said, Filipino, or as we say, Filipino, because every time we say Filipino, it sounds like they're saying Filipino. Filipino is a mini version of Marcus Pettersson, or at the least, they look like cousins. That's interesting because Marcus Pettersson is Swedish. Chytil is Czech, but Swerve and Irvin thinks that they look alike. So we're going to give some love to Swerve and Irvin. We're going to combine it with this one too. His 16-month membership message. Ooh, we finally get to celebrate Trevor Linden months as a member. Yes, thank you, Swerve and Irvin, for being, you might as well have been here since the very start. You're such a solid Hall of Fame member. So greetings from Vernon. Yes, I was in Kamloops. You're in Vernon, and I hope things are going well up there. So for Swerve and Irvin's donation, that actually got the donation train out of the station, and his monthly membership message, we got to give him his favorite, and that, of course, is the window. Then 3.5 hours before I got on, SkyTrain Alfred, I guess referring to Filip Chytil, says, health is wealth. I agree. We need Chytil to be healthy. That's going to be the whole premise of my video. So, you know what's not healthy? Getting slapped in the face with a tortilla.
Hard.
So let's give some love to SkyTrain Alfred for the $2 donation. By the way, Alfred, I was telling the guys on my golf trip about some of you members and how I some of your intricacies and how I love meeting all you guys and know some of you. I've met some of you many times. And in particular, I was telling the guys about you and your love for transit, all things transit, and your wonderful SkyTrain voice. And I played one open house where you gave your SkyTrain voice. It might remember it was the one where when I brought you on, your ringtone went off or something funny went off, and then you sheepishly then did your SkyTrain voice. So the guys loved it. So thank you, Alfred. Let's give Alfred some love in the chat for the donation. And then Coach Rob comes through with a big $5 donation by way of a gift membership, a franchise membership that goes to Major Minor. Who do you think you are? I am. So thank you, Coach Rob, for the generous donation. And like I said, it goes to Major Minor. So looking at the leaderboard right now, Fangirl is tied with Swerve and Irvin at 675 points. SkyTrain Alfred is at 475. And then you guys flow down from there. Okay. So I'm going to try a new format, just a slightly altered format, because I don't like making you wait for me to read all your comments until after the mid-show sponsor read. So even though it's called a mid-show sponsor read, it's going to be more like a 2/3 show sponsor read, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my golf trip. I'm going to talk about Filip Chytil. Then I'm going to take 5 to 10 minutes of your initial comments on Filip Chytil, and then we will go to the sponsor read, and then we will wrap up the show. So basically a slight adjustment. I'm going to test this out to see if this works, if I get to at least your first part of your comments before the mid-show sponsor read. All right, let's get into this. Every year, there's a group of anywhere from 6 to 12 of us guys, mostly from church, but from other walks of life too, friends of friends, blah, blah, blah. Actually, a lot of teachers were in this group because of who organized it. So my friend Mike, my season ticket partner, Mike McBurney, he organizes a golf trip every year. We've done Bellingham, we've done Whistler, we've done Victoria, we've done Maple Ridge. Yeah. And then 2023, we did Victoria, but that was the week after I ruptured my Achilles. So I went up on my crutches, didn't golf, obviously. Then last year, we did not have one. Me, Sean, and Jake were in Korea and for the Philippines, and then other guys were traveling as well. So this was the first time I got to golf and go on this trip in 2 years. So I'm going to just show you real quick just how beautiful it was. So this year, as I've mentioned a couple times, we went to Kamloops. So here's day one. It says here, day one of our annual golf trip. And the first, it's called Sagebrush, was has been ranked as the #1 golf course in Canada at times. So it started out with the 6 of us. There's Mike and me. And the funny joke here was no one else put their arm around each other except Mike put his arm around me. So we are 319 section 319, row 13, seats 1 and 2. That's Mike. Mike is a teacher. This is Mike's younger brother, Jason. So Mike and Jason, they're the two guys that took care of me, protected me on our roller hockey team. Jason is in marketing. So that's Mike, teacher, Jason, marketer, then me, the church guy. Then Steven is a teacher, works with Mike. Jeff is a teacher, works with Mike. And then Matt is a teacher. He actually teaches people at the BCIT aerospace hangar, the one that's near the airport, near where Lucas works, actually. So that was the 6 of us. And then that was you can do some fly fishing when you're eating lunch. And then a couple beautiful shots of the Sagebrush golf course. So that was day one. And look, I'm a really bad golfer, like really bad, you guys. So I've only broken 100 in my life. So I shot 124 at Sagebrush, 63 and 61, 124. I struggled. It's a really nice course, but there's so many blind shots that if those of you that golf, you'll understand this. You hit your shot, you think you're on the fairway, but then you can't find your ball because it's rolled off somewhere. So that was day one. Then day two was Eagle Point. I said easier course, shave 12 strokes off my score. So I shot a 112 at Eagle Point, so better than 124. And I said, ready to give those 12 strokes back as today we're golfing at Tobiano. So there's me golfing. That is, actually, I'm wearing this shirt. So this is at Eagle Point. This is another shot of Eagle Point. This is now Sean and Jake. So this is Thursday night now. We went up Wednesday, played Sagebrush. Thursday, we played Eagle Point. Then Sean and Jake didn't join us for the round, but they made it up for 8 o'clock for dinner after we spent some time in the pool. So there's all the guys once again. We had a green jacket for whoever golfed the best. So Matt won at day 1, Mike won at day 2, and there's all of us there. There's the 3 good-looking emo boys, and then a nice shot from, Airbnb, beautiful shot from, they have a lakefront property in Kamloops. And then I also posted this one. If you saw it on Instagram, Facebook, or here, I said reflecting on the upcoming Canucks season. This one got a lot of engagement, 48 likes, 3,500 views, whatever. A couple people said it looks like I'm peeing onto the dock, but no, I would be way closer to the edge. But yeah, I kind of like that artistic shot. Day 3 was Tobiano, known as the highlight, the signature course in Kamloops. I said stunning course. I played okay. Great to have the whole crew together. So I actually golfed a 115. Where Sagebrush, I golfed 124, then I went 112, then I went 115. And then here we are. There's the 8 of us all together. This foursome, me, Sean, and the 2 McBurney brothers, all arm in arm. These guys didn't want to touch each other, which was fine. And then Tobiano, beautiful, beautiful course. And there's our foursome again with Canuck Sean, and then Mike and Jason. Then finally was yesterday, day 4. We got Sun Peaks. There's a nice picture of me, Sean, and Jake on the course. Absolutely love golfing with them. And then here's some shots from Tobiano. From Sun Peaks. So there's us again. There's our foursome. There's this shot was that's a really nice hole there. And then this one doesn't do it justice, but I'm way up elevated, and it's the highest elevated tee box in Canada, I think. And it goes. This really doesn't do it justice. It is I'm way up there, like really high up there. I don't know what the actual elevation is. So there we go. That was my trip. Had a really good time, and I can answer questions about the golfing side after the Mitchell sponsor break. And last day, I think I golfed. It wasn't great. I think it was a 118. So I think I went 124, 115, 112, 118. Whatever I did, it was not good. My arm was getting a little bit sore yesterday as well, because I'm just simply not used to playing for 4 rounds in a row. All right. So that was my, that's where I was the last 4 days. Yes, Selena, my daughter and Jacob's girlfriend are going to be there as well at the Aritzia sale. Place your bet. Is Jacob and Sean better golfers than bowlers? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I'll put it this way. In terms of bowling, it goes Jacob, Sean, Clay. In terms of golfing, it goes Sean, Jacob, Clay. Sean is much better than Jacob and me, but Jacob is better than me. And so I'm the worst at both, but we are collectively better bowlers than we are better golfers. Did you do the who do you think you are? I am Sally after hole in one. I didn't get a hole in one. I only got a couple pars, but those pars did feel good. Yes. And Skytrain Alfred, I don't know how he knew, but Simu is a better golfer than Jimu for sure. Golf Sagebrush in July, lost 9 in the first round and then 0 in the next day. Oh, sweet. Oh, you played Sagebrush twice. That's great, Helen. You are probably better than me as well. Angus, happy birthday. When was your birthday? Is it today? Happy birthday, Angus. Let's go to now the topic of the day, and that is Filip Chytil, or is it's going to sound like I say Filipino. Now, Filip Chytil was on the 100% Canucks podcast, the one with John Shannon and Landon Ferraro. I listened to the whole thing today as I was walking or in the backyard. Gail and I went for a nice walk. yeah, so really quickly, got home at 10 o'clock last night after doing the 4.5 hour drive home from Sun Peaks. And then today, great day with Gail. Went to church, went to nice Japanese food for lunch, ran some errands in the afternoon, went to McDonald's for dinner, came home, and then went for a nice walk in Steveston. Then I only got to 8,500 steps. I basically didn't, after doing 4 days of 15,000 steps, even though we carded, still got a lot of steps. I then had to do an extra 1,500 steps. So that's when I watched the Filip Chytil interview. So in this interview, Harry, I just talked about the golf trip for the last 8 minutes. Where were you, man? No, it's literally, I just showed pictures and I talked about every course. Actually, I think you were too busy talking about your Winnipeg trip, which is fine. You're allowed to do that too. So welcome back from Winnipeg. But Harry, I was literally talking about my golf trip for the last 8 minutes of the show. I'm not sure where you were. Oh, that was so funny. That was so funny. But I love Harry. Harry and I are buds. We have great chats and stuff. But and he's not afraid to admit that he was in and out, obviously. So good. Okay, I'm going to start again. So on the first day, I'm just kidding. Ricky, how was the golf trip? You guys are killing me. Sorry, I don't know why I'm in such a goofy mood today. I just think that's really funny. I just think that's really, 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 really funny. Oh, that was too good. By the way, Angus, it is today. 1 week before end of August. I would be 25 today. I was born in 2000. Unfortunately, I'm born way before 2000. Huh? Oh, okay. So you're not born in 2000. I get what you're saying. But yes, happy birthday, Angus. Hey, Clay, do you golf? Not well. Okay, I better move on. Otherwise, I'm just going to goofy and loopy Clay. No, just good-looking Clay. GLC. Good-looking Clay. Filip Chytil was drafted in the same draft as Elias Pettersson. Just, what was Pettersson? 5, right? So 16 picks later, 21st overall, the Rangers drafted Filip Chytil. And in so the year he got drafted, he actually got to play 9 games. You know how a lot of times they play 9 games and they send you back so you don't burn the first year of your contract. So that's what they did. So since then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's had the potential to play 560 games at 7 full seasons, but he's only played 393. And that's because he's had a well-known, history of concussions. But in his first full season, he did play 75 games, 23 points. Not bad for a rookie. Then he matched the 23 points in only 60 games, so that was good. Then he was half a point per game, but in an injury-riddled season, at 22 and 40. Oh, no, that was the COVID season, too. 22 and 42. Then he had only 22 and 67. It's weird. He had 23 and 23, 22 and 22. Then this is the year, I think they went to playoffs the year before that, 45 and 74. So that's good. That was his most productive season. Then only played 10 games a season after that. And then last year combined 56 games between Rangers and Canucks, and then 26 points. And he only had 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points with the Canucks in those 15 games. Usually a minus player, but remember that's sometimes based on the teams that you played in. Doesn't get a lot of penalty minutes, although he did peak at 30. What a goon. And then time on ice, very consistent. 13, 13, 14, 13, 13, 14, 15, 14, then 16 with the Canucks. And then shooting percentage, that's about right, 10%. And then not the best at faceoffs, only 42% in faceoffs. He did have a good season in the playoffs with the Rangers, yes, back in 21-22. So that was the coming out of COVID year. He had actually 9 points in 20 games, 7 goals. I think he was the 3rd highest goal scorer on the Rangers for the playoffs that year. So he does have 36, playoff games, which is a lot more than any of the current Canucks have. He has 2 more years left on a contract that pays him $4.4 million. So that screams, second to third line salary. But as it stands right now, we need him. He is our second line center. So that's what I want to talk about for just, 5-6 minutes or so. and then I would love to get your feedback. So when you look at his stats, and then I'll take this off the screen, he is 170 and 393. So that's more like a 0.35 points per game, I think. I just pulled that out of my head. 170 divided by 393. 170 divided by 393. Oh, more. 0.43 points per game. So almost half a point per game. Minus 18, 14 minutes of ice time, not 10% shooting percentage, 42% face-off percentage. So the stats don't really jump out at you like that he's a dominant player, at least not yet. So let's talk about what we saw from him last season in those 15 games he played for us. And I remember his very first goal was electric. And in the fact that he's really fast skater. That's the one thing I noticed about Filip Chytil when he first came over. You know, I didn't know much about him aside from young, played on that cool line, that young line with Canuck and Lafreniere in the Rangers a few years ago. I knew of his injury history, right? That was a concern when we traded for him. And then I think we were just really interested to see what kind of game he played. And what I really liked about Filip Chytil when he first came over was just how fast he was. All three zones, coming out of the defensive zone, skating through the neutral zone, and then getting into the offensive zone, right? All three zones. And I did recognize, and I made this point many times on my shows last year, that he was often so fast, especially faster than his Canucks teammates. Maybe Drew O'Connor is the only other guy that's as fast as him. He would get into the offensive zone and almost be too fast because no one would be with him. Or I'm not sure if his brain, and I'm not saying he's not smart, he's a good hockey player, but caught up to his feet, or his hands caught up to his feet is maybe a better way of putting it, because oftentimes he would skate in the offensive zone and then nothing would happen just because, again, he didn't have teammate support or he'd give the puck away. Now, maybe it's chemistry. He only played for 15 games for the Canucks before getting hit from behind by Jason Dickinson, and then which was a scary sight for sure. But there's no doubt that he added a different dimension to the team in terms of speed and breaking the puck out. So now you had Hughes that could do it from the defensive end, and you had Filip Chytil who could do use a lot of speed through the neutral zone and in the offensive end. So that's the first thing I noticed about him when he first came to the Canucks. In watching the whole interview on the John Shannon and Landon Ferraro podcast, he said some things that were really, really encouraging. So I'll talk about that. Then I'll talk about where he lines up this year, and then I'll throw to you guys. Is he first? The most thing he talked about growing up and his family and his juniors, his idols, blah blah blah. But when it came to the nitty gritty of this season and the end of last season, the injury from Dickinson was more to his neck than his head, although they said concussion-like symptoms. But then the good thing is, you guys might remember, he was actually practicing with the team in the last 2 weeks of the season in a non-contact jersey. You might say, well, Clay, what's the point of coming back if you're not going to play for the last 2 weeks? It's just a confidence thing. It's being confident, getting on the ice with your teammates. He talked about, the vision and just getting his head on straight, literally and figuratively, and just being with the guys as they pushed for a final playoff spot, which obviously they fell short of. And then because he had those 2 weeks of practice, he was able to return to the Czech Republic and hit the ground running, hit the ice skating, and he had a good 4 months of training. So he feels 100% healthy. And it's funny that we say the same thing about Demko and Petey. You just realize, A, how bad last year was for injuries, and B, how important it is that all our good players, our key players, need to stay healthy. So he sounded and looked refreshed. He looked like he was ready to go, and that he's got no excuses. He doesn't have concerns about concussion or whatever coming into the season. So that is awesome. I think that is a really, really good sign. The other thing, aside from his health, that was really interesting from the interview is he talked about his desire to be a goal scorer, that he loves to score goals. He loves to beat guys one-on-one and then trying to find a way to beat the goalie. So he thinks that he has much more to give offensively, and that's great. I think that is great, and it was refreshing to hear that. And it's a little bit surprising to hear that, given that he only scored 2 goals in 15 games. That extrapolates to only like 10 to 12 goals a season. So that doesn't scream goal scorer to me. but he sounds confident and that he's able that, and that's what he's been working on. He said, he's been working on a shot all summer too. So that sounds good to me. So where does he line up? Well, it's key because Marco Rossi signed 3 years times 5 in Minnesota. We heard last week that the Canucks were out on Jack Roslovic. And remember, it was Rossi, Roslovic, and Mason McTavish, who I still think is a bit of a pipe dream. Those were the 3 names that the Canucks were kind of linked to, and then Zaka, Middlestat, others. But I think those are the big 3 that they were linked to. And now Roslovic, they're not going to pursue. Rossi signed with Minnesota, and we haven't heard much on the McTavish front. So I said this before when I was projecting my lineup. I think the Canucks are ready to start the season and confident to start the season with Filip Chytil as the second line center. In my projections, I have Petey with Besser and DeBrus. I have Chytil between Kane and Garland. And I think that's a really interesting line. Garland's a smart player and is going to do a lot of work in the corners and on the boards and just be a pest. Kane is big and strong and fast, and he can really create some space for Chytil. And if Chytil, if with Garland retrieving pucks, with Kane making space, it could open up a lot of space for Filip Chytil as the second line center. And again, we need him to be healthy. We've been hearing he's been saying all the right things about being healthy, saying all the right things about wanting to contribute, especially offensively, and help our team get to the playoffs. So if you haven't seen the podcast interview, I would recommend that you do so. It's very good. It's very informative. It goes by quickly. A bit of fluff there where they're talking about his background and other things. Like, it's important to him. He got married over the summer. Of course, that's important. But if you want, they don't really get into the personnel of the Canucks or the playing style of the Canucks that much. But it's more of a chance to get to know Filip Chytil as a player and especially as an individual. So for the next 5 to 10 minutes, before we do Mitchell's sponsor read, I ask you, are you confident with the Canucks going into this season with Chytil as the second line center? Do you think he'll be fine? Are you worried about his health? And who do you see him playing with? So I give you all those questions. Let's go 5 to 10 minutes on what I just talked about. Let's keep it to Filip Chytil. If there's anything else, I think that's a good format for my show, is questions and comments about the topic of the day. And then after the Mitchell sponsor read, we can get into other Canucks or even non-hockey related questions. Even if Chytil is healthy all season, he's a 3C at best. In my opinion, we need a true 2C. That is a fair comment. Would really love to see a full season of Chytil. If easing into it means he'll be healthy in the long term, then by all means, he should take his time. That is a fair comment too. Looking at the long game, for sure. I'm confident Chytil can play as a 2C as long as he can stay healthy. Okay, I will take that, Alfred, for sure. As a general comment, I'm not directing this to anyone, so anyone, please don't take it personally. I like to have fun with people who show up late, who ask funny questions or ask questions about everything I just talked about, but let's be careful not to judge people who can't be here on time, or just as we wouldn't judge anyone who leaves early, or judge people that come to every single stream or pop in whenever they can. I'm grateful for all of you, no matter when you come in or how often you show up. I'm grateful for sure, because I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what other things you have to do. But I think when we do come in late or whatever, it's common sense not to just say, what are we talking about, or what did I miss? Because the answer to that is always go back and watch yourself. Okay, I think that's fair to say, and I hopefully I didn't offend anyone there, because I think what I said was relatively accurate. All right, let's keep going. As always, I would like to see Chytil step up over trying to overpay for the result I'd want to see. Oh, I see what you're saying. So kind of get the solution from within, i.e. Filip Chytil, a guy who's under contract, cost controlled right now, as opposed to making a bad trade for someone who might not do the job, right? I think that's what you're saying, for sure. I'd rather start the season with a proven 2C. I worry it could be good for 10 to 20 games and scramble to replace him. There's a small part of me that worries about that, but I guess, Brian, you could say that about any player, right? In any position. we've talked many times on the show, if Demko's healthy, if Petey's healthy, if Quinn Hughes can stay healthy. So I get it. I get it that Filip Chytil's history has been a little bit more sketchy from it. Not like in a bad way, meaning more concerns because concussions are horrible. I've gone through one. I had one playing hockey, and maybe I'll share that story for another time, or maybe after the break. But then Sean's had a concussion playing football, and it's nasty business for sure. Hey, Gabriel, just the eye test, but I like how fast Chytil looked. That is fair. You're right. That is the eye test, though, for sure. But yeah, he's fast. He is only 25. Yeah, same as Petey, right? Because they were drafted in the same year. We have confidence in him. Filip is basically an excellent hockey player with immense potential. He was very good with the Rangers, especially in the playoffs against Tampa. Do you remember that? Well, Natty, I only brought up his stats, the fact that he had 7 goals in 20 games, which was pretty impressive. Not all against Tampa, of course, but in that when the Rangers made it 20 games in the conference final, which was pretty impressive. Good point. I do worry about Demko, but confident in Lankinen. That is fair. Morning from Vancouver. What? Are you here? Are you saying morning to Vancouver? Morning from Sweden. Where are you, RSA? Where are you? Chytil scored 23 goals or 22 goals. I'm confident he can do it again. I hope so. That would be amazing. That would be perfect. Second line center, 20 goals, 30 assists. That would be perfect second line center production. By the way, I have such a big cup today because I made too much Slurpee. I didn't want the slushy machine running for a whole hour when I'm doing my show, so I put everything in this cup, and I'm only halfway done. What else we got? He said morning from Vancouver again. I'm not sure what's happening. All right, guys. Any other Filip Chytil thoughts? Otherwise, I will go into mid-show sponsor read, and then I will come out of the mid-show sponsor read by talking about... Actually, let's do this. Who's your favorite all-time second line center, Clay? Oh, this is tough. This is tough. And I presume we're talking about guys who are actually truly second line center as opposed to guys that were like you could say Henrik was a second line center when he played behind the West Coast Express line when the Sedins were just starting, but obviously he ended up being a first line center. Ryan Kesler is the one that pops to mind in terms of effectiveness behind Henrik for the 2011 run. You could say Horvat was a second line center behind Petey. Then he dropped down to a third line center after Petey and Miller. I don't know. Or did Miller play wing when Horvat was here? I can't remember what happened. It's so long ago now. So I think off the top of my head, it would have to be Ryan Kesler. And many of you would agree. Mark says Kesler. Ryan says Kesler. Alfred says Kesler. Dino saying hi from Vancouver. Sean Monahan is the GOAT. Yeah, he's great, but we're talking about Canucks second line centers. Did you beat the Heat today? Aha. I enjoyed it. It was different than Kamloops Heat, that's for sure. That's for sure, but I enjoyed it for sure. I would WhatsApp you for a dinner. Okay. Yeah, do it for sure. Gerard Gallant, teams should trade for 2C. Chytil put up more than 25 points in a season only once. And that was in my first, I love it, in my first season as the Rangers coach where he put up 45 points. Yeah, that's a big jump, right? That's a big range from 25 to 45 points. Dino comes in with his nightly $14 donation, which is awesome. Going to give you the save. By the way, I said this once, so thank you, Dino, for the $14 donation. Let's give Dino some love. I think I mentioned this last week because Swerve and Irvin asked me if I had Jacob's footage from that save. Because if you look closely over my left shoulder, the right of your screen, you see Jacob filming with his phone. And actually at the meetup, I was able to show Irvin Jacob's footage. And you actually hear one of the guys behind the net say, oh, like he swore when I made the save because it was such a spectacular save. So just watch Jacob one more time over my left shoulder on the right of your screen. So I think I will get that footage eventually so I can show that to you, even though it's like the same length of the clip, like 9 seconds. Thank you, Dino, for your donation. Andrew Cassos. Yeah, he was good. He was good. Could I see the Canucks signing Luke Hughes? No, I know they talked about it, Scarce Price. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, we can invite Alfred to dinner. All-time favorite on third and fourth line. Well, we're talking centers. Oh, man. Malhotra was good for us. I don't think Smeel was the center, right? Linden was a third line center for us for a while. Yeah, that's a bit of a tougher one, admittedly, Simon. Yeah, that's a little bit tougher. Yes, we will see Jacob's point of view for sure. Rossi's contract is tradable and it's cost certainty, but it's the salary is 456. Even though salary cap is 555, salary is 456 because the qualifying offer, right? Because there'll still be an RFA at the end of that, is based on your last year's salary. I can see Hito being what Nick Bonino did when he was traded to Pittsburgh from Vancouver. You mean in a good way? In a good way? Irvin thinks it's less tradable. Of RFAs, yep, they can. An RFA, yeah, as soon as they're signed, they can be traded. Yeah, they can be traded anytime. They can be traded anytime. Lapierre was good. Blue shirt was a swear source. Yeah, we're going to have to do a deep dive into that. That's a good point. But yeah, I think the way he reacts behind the net, Irwin, I think that is a good guess for sure. Chubarov, yeah, Hansen wasn't a center. He was a winger for sure. So sign and trade. And hello, Jeff. Nice to see you. All right, let's go. Mid-show sponsor read. I always start off by thanking my primary sponsor, and that's Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrick Lou Weight Loss Coach. You can check him out at coachpatricklou.com/clay and receive a free 5-day workout. Thank you to my secondary sponsor, GassyJackArt.com. That's his beautiful artwork behind me, and you can check out GassyJackArt.com and see all that he has to offer there. Thanks to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks on your next purchase of Vessi shoes. By the way, hopefully around this time next week, I'm able, or in the next couple of weeks, I'm able to announce a new secondary sponsor on this show. Stay tuned for that. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch. You can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. That helps me out. Very grateful to anyone who does that. And then my shows this week, just so you know, I am doing another CCC on Tuesday night. And then member show on Wednesday night. And it will be an open house on Wednesday night because on Thursday night, I am watching the Lion King musical and I don't think I'll get home in time for a show. And then Friday, I am off to the States. So shows this week. I doubt we're doing Canucks After Dark. Although if I hear different from Parker, you'll know. But he usually likes to take the summer off, which I have no problem with. So CCC Tuesday night and then member show on Wednesday night. And I guess I'll remind you every once in a while that looking very much forward to my version 3.0, 24-hour live stream, October 12, October 13. Let's get to more of your questions and comments. Oh yeah, don't forget, ways you can get involved, subscribe. No, I said this already, right? Did I say this already? Maybe I didn't. Subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and review. And right now, atop our fictional leaderboard, it is still tied. Fangirl and Swervin Irvin with 675, but Dino has shot up to third place with his big donation. He's at 625. Hey, Japan. Nice to see you. Hope you are doing well. Tanner Glass, spot duty at 4C. So I can see Hito play center if he stays healthy. I totally understand about concussions. I've had a couple. Oh, that's scary, Shannon. Yes. Aren't they the worst? But yeah, I think all of us concussion people, we need to start a support club. I'm not saying it's Clay's concussion commentary, but because I'm not making light of it, but I definitely agree with you that, concussions are tough. Mods have been busy doing the open house lately. Yeah, there's a couple of people who try and act all tough when they come into the chat for sure. OEL's contract comes off the books after this year. I'm looking right now. Dead cap money. No, we have OEL's contract on the books for 4 more seasons after this. Amazing. He's coming for $5 million. Ilya Mikheyev has 1 more year on his. So no CCC until some preseason action or a big splash. Oh no, I'm still doing my I'm still doing weekly shows, but if I'm traveling on the weekends or stuff, I just have to change the schedules. No, I'm still doing. I think you're talking about no Canucks after dark until preseason. Brian Blingy Choi comes through with a $3 donation. Thank you, Brian. Let's give some love to legendary Brian Blingy Choi, and let's go with the bottle toss.
3, 2, 1.
And I think it was Irvin or Gerald who's when I said that, when you look at this, I kind of feel bad for Jacob because me, Sean, and our friend Dave kind of ignore him a little bit because we're all a little bit taller than him. Not anymore, but taller than him. And we kind of high-five each other. And Jake's just left jumping up and down by himself, much like Victor Oreskovich after Alex Burrows slayed the dragon. Let's watch that one more time and just watch Jacob.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, he gets some, I guess, side high-five action there. Thank you, Brian, for the generous donation. Let's say they acquire a 2C and keep Filipino. Is Filipino better off as a 3C or top 6 swinger? You know, then I would, you have versatility, right? If you're not liking the way Atu Ratu is going, or maybe you can trade Bluger away now, get that cap space, or maybe, yeah, he competes for a top 6 winger position and you know, competes with DeBrusque, Besser, Kane, and Garland. Yeah, I am fine with him on the wing, actually, to be honest with you. For sure. I guess, Clay, if Canucks signed Jack Roslovic, would it still be wise if it's a 2-year deal, for example? Yeah, I would only go 1 or 2 years. I just don't think it's going to happen, and that's kind of the stories that we've heard. How good would EP40 be this year? I want him to between 80 and 90 points. I think he can get there if his injuries are truly behind him. And he's certainly saying the right things. What was your reaction to the Rossi signing? Do you think the Canucks could have done something to match that value for him? It's about what I expected, to be honest with you. The $5 million a year, that seems to be a going rate for a player like that. Although, yeah, what did Frank Nazar get? Anyway, yeah, it didn't surprise, the term and money didn't surprise me. It surprised me that it was with Minnesota. I thought he'd be traded, whether it's to Vancouver or somewhere else. Simon, I do think Vancouver will have a good season. I always said I don't think they're as good as they were 2 years ago. They're certainly not as bad as they were last year. I expect them to make the playoffs at about 97 points. The Reskovich jump, exactly. Connor Bedard did a small event here. I'm so sad I didn't hear about it. Did anyone else know about it? Yeah, do people know about it? What's your biggest hot take for any NHL teams? I don't know how big of a hot take this is, but I think Utah makes the playoffs this year. The Canucks need to acquire a legit 2C like McTavish. We need to realize some of our future D may not be regular NHLers, so we got to get rid of some of them to get substantially better. So I presume, Japan 4, you're talking about one of the big 3 in terms of the young guys, right? Mancini, Verlander, or DPD. Yeah, you're going to have to give up quality to get quality. That is for sure. Make a side-by-side of video Jacob and Victor. That's a good idea. Or sort of nerd, you can do that. No, I'm not going to make you do that for me. 5 years ago, last Thursday, August 21, we eliminated the Blues in the bubble. That was so fun. Horvat was just smoking them on breakaways. I remember that. If Hito can't stay healthy, we are screwed. Yeah, it would be quite tough, for sure. For sure. Hey, see edits. Bubble playoff hockey was something. Yeah, it was just so weird, right? No fans, artificial sound. Well, not artificial sounds, but you know what I mean. We don't want Roslovic. He hasn't played center for 2 seasons and only a few shifts here and there. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I wasn't as high as others were, but I admit I was kind of interested. Do you see any more sightings or anything with the Canucks? I don't, Shannon. I think the team that they have right now, the players that they have right now, that's who they're going to go into training camp with. No, I think Rossi is... Minnesota can still trade him. Maybe that was done, so he's traded. I don't know. Yeah, they can still trade him. I don't know if the Canucks will be in on him, though. DeBrusque collecting Pokemon. I did not know that. Do you believe if we had beaten Vegas in the second round that we would have had home? Do you believe we would have home to the Stanley Cup against Tampa? Huh? Anyways, yeah, that was tough, right? Because was it Martian was hurt? That's why Demko played so well. Yeah, that was a good team though. That the Canucks had a good team, but maybe they weren't scoring a lot though, right? Against Vegas, they were relying on Demko's heroics. So I don't necessarily, I can't draw a straight line to saying we would have won the cup that season. I mean, Tyler Mott's goal against the Blues, I remember that too. Okay, so I think C Edits is asking me a legitimate question about the golf trip. It was great, thank you. And because she was late, she wouldn't have known that I spoke about it for 8 minutes already. But yes, I recapped the golf trip in the first half. And I'm not being sarcastic or mean. It's because one of the people in here, while I was finishing up talking about my golf trip for 8 minutes, they asked me, how was your golf trip, Clay? Rossi is blocked for the next year. What does that mean? You can't trade him for 1 year? Huh? Are you sure? I don't think that's a rule. Bubble Demko. Oh, you mean... Oh, yeah, sorry. If he has a no trade clause, no movement clause, that's fine. I thought you meant by virtue of him being an RFA. Never mind. Travis Green, defensive hockey, was a close cousin to Rick Tocchet, defensive hockey. Bruce Boudreau did not play defensive hockey, that's for sure. Do you think Minnesota signed Rossi on purpose? Just let teams know who were interested in how much Rossi is in moving forward. You sign him for two reasons. One is you've made up and you want him to be a part of your team going forward, or you sign him because now you're dealing with certainty. You know exactly what he's worth in terms of money, and therefore you can base your ask on that. They can trade Rossi now. Do you think their attendance is going to be at the hockey games? Oh, they'll be sold out or very close to it. Vancouver's always sold out or very close to it. Remember they had that super long sellout streak? I know that is broken, but they still do well. I've blocked out the bubble hockey probably because it's a pandemic, and I have a loved one dying of Alzheimer's and couldn't see this loved one before they passed. That is tough. You can't trade RFAs you just signed right away. It's a rule. You can't trade RFAs you just signed right away. It's a rule. Okay, I'm not aware of that rule, but NHL rule... trade RFAs after signing. Okay, there's about offer sheets. Okay, I'll look at it later. But thank you. I'm actually not sure what you're talking about, Jack, but if you can explain it to me better, that would be great. But I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't get it. Would you ever try water skiing? I did it for the first time this weekend, and my body is aching bad. I'm not sure if that's something I'd be good at, but we'll see. We will see. Probably not, but I'm glad that you did it. You're stronger than me, and you're a lot younger than me. I've been busy with grad school, so don't always join the streams right away. No, all good. All good. I want to say, do you believe we made it to the finals in 2020 if we beat Vegas? I still don't know if we would have made it to the finals. I know, who did Vegas play? Dallas? Who did Vegas play? I can't even remember. Who did Vegas play in the Western Conference final after they beat us? But I just know our, or maybe it's because Vegas was so good. I know we were having trouble scoring. St. Louis was fine. Then we got to Vegas. It was a little tougher. If we get to a 2C, then there's less pressure on Chytil when he plays wing. Get him going and stay healthy. That is totally fair. When I win a game, I always think about how I can win the next one. When I know some people who party and stuff after winning a final, how are you as a person? when I win a game, I always think about how I can win the next one. Well, I know some people who party and stuff after winning a final. I see what you're saying. I love sports, but I don't take them too seriously. So I'd be all into celebrating as opposed to thinking about the next game. Vegas played Dallas. Thank you. And Dallas went to the Cup final versus Tampa. Makes sense. And watch Sino new video. No, I don't even know what that means. Take care, Brian. Are you going to volunteer at the Milford Golf Tournament? Probably not, fangirl. They sounds like they didn't have space. They're aware of my interest, but I don't know if that's going to happen this year. But if it does, great. If not, I'm okay with it. But I'll let you know if I do, for sure. Pete DeBoer saying maybe the boys were overthinking their shots after facing Demko. That's true. That's true. That was a nice compliment to Demko, for sure. Oh, what I meant is I think about the next thing until I can finally retire, I think. Okay, Jackie, I'm still not sure what you're getting at. Training camp is September 18. With the departure of Suter, do you reckon the PK declining this season? Yeah, although Kane's not much of a penalty killer. And yeah, they're losing Suter and Joshua. So I think it's going to be up to guys like Sherwood, O'Connor, DeBrusque, Petey, Garland. Yeah, I don't... Hopefully it doesn't fall off too much. I don't think it's going to get better, that's for sure. Let's say, worst case scenario, Chytil gets injured and won't play for a while. What is our backup plan? You get forced into making a trade, and then you have no bargaining power. So that's tough. That is very tough. Unless you hope that Aturatu is a revelation, and then Bluger, and then you put Sasson or Amon as the fourth, but that's not very strong. Yes, I am going to the home opener this season for once. Have you filmed your AMA yet? I sent a late question. No, I usually film on Monday, Irvin. I give people the weekend and early Monday to film. I usually film sometime on Monday. Sino is an underrated hockey channel on YouTube. Very good. How concerned are we for them? I can't speak for the community. I'm not, but I recognize it is an issue. I send you a VC on WA later. I'll send you a video call or video clip on WhatsApp. Okay. Still, that's confusing. I'm not cool enough to use acronyms. My PP1 lineup is Hughes, Petey, Besser, Kane, and DeBrusque. Hughes, Petey, Besser, Kane, and DeBrusque. My second unit is Hronik, Garland, Chytil, Hoglander, and Myers. Let's go with that. A lot of questions this season. Keeping my expectations low. That is safe. Without Chytil, it's Petey, Ratu, Bluger, Carlson. Carlson plays center? I thought he was a winger. Voice chat. Gotcha. Olympics going to be on the same level. Not in terms of fight, because the Olympic hockey it frowns upon fighting. So it depends what you mean on the same level. The quality of the hockey is still going to be as good, but maybe won't be as crazy as that US-Canada game. But yeah, hockey psychology is very good. I love Chytil, but he's fragile as an egg. I think the Canucks could be really good or really bad. That is fair. How confident are you in this current roster? I'm confident in PD. In this roster, I'm confident that they get into the playoffs. I really am. Good question, Simon. It can vary from late August to early September. For instance, Filip Chytil said he's coming to Vancouver in the second week of September because training camp's in the third week of September. I have indeed been inside the Canucks locker room before. I've told this story once before. I was asked to be part of the focus group for the new Flying Skate jerseys, not the 50th remastered ones, but the new Flying Skate, the one that they wear now as their alternate. And I was part of this focus group, and I can't say too much, but basically we were going to help them spread the word, be ambassadors, be influencers on social media, build up the hype for this kind of, and there were like a couple billboards and a couple hints that were kind of Easter eggs that were dropped on telecasts. And then they pulled the plug on the campaign because Gino Object passed away. So it was a more muted release of these jerseys because of the passing of Gino, which was obviously more important. But yes, all to say, when I was there for that focus group, I was in the locker room there. They had my emo flying skate jersey hung up on a locker stall, which is pretty cool. And then I was in there once when they did the recent tour for season ticket members as well. I think Coots is 2 or 3 years away still, for sure. Soft launch of the jerseys. Yeah, a little bit. It was kind of cool. Like I was there with Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda were there, as well as some other couple influencers. A small group of 6 of us, for sure. Skytrain Alfred uses his monthly membership message for 38 months. Almost broke my leg there. Scale 1 to 10. How much of this coming season will Filipino play? 8 is 80% of the season. Well, let's give some love to Skytrain Alfred for the 38-month monthly membership message. I will say I'll say 8. 80% of the season. So 60 to 65 games. DeBrusque 30 or Sherwood 20? Oh, I think Sherwood kind of caught lightning in a bottle. I think DeBrusque 30. Yeah. I'd be pretty hyped for a white old school home current away version of Flying Skate. For sure. Yeah, he's Dimitra, you're Linden. Carlson, Linus, position right or center. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, friends, it is up to midnight. That was a very fast hour. I'm not sure if you felt it on your side, but I thought that went really quickly, especially when I had to repeat my golf stories 8 times. You think Besser can hit 35? Yeah, he can, but I don't think he will. I'd take 30 to 35 for Besser. Okay, friends, you guys are awesome. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's the legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Line Change, legendary Brian Blingy, and legendary Andrew Chang. Thank you for your support, and thanks to Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On the way out, you can like the video, subscribe, you can leave a donation. Thanks to my sponsors, Vancouver Experts Real Estate, Gassy Jack Art, and Coach Patrick Lee, Weight Loss Coach. And thanks to everyone who went above and beyond. It was Irvin before I came on. Then it was Skytrain Elfrin with a donation. Irvin with a monthly membership message. Coach Rob gives some membership. Dino with a big donation. Brian Blingy with a donation. Skytrain Elfrin with his Pavel Dimitra monthly membership message. So thanks to all of you for going above and beyond with your generosity. Now that the hour is up, how was your golf trip? Yeah, I'll just start. So on Wednesday, I messed that up, but thank you. There's some last ones here. RIP Dimitra. I think DeBrusque scores 40. He has a full year. Yeah, well, he has a full year with us for a long time. He started the season with us last year. Will the Canucks be using the Flying Skate jersey? Probably for 10 to 12 games. First, roll the balcony slightly to the right, see at it. So I don't have to stand up if I don't want to, which is awesome. Go Canucks, go Jets, go. DeBrusque and a killer power play. Yeah, I want him to do good on there again. Not afraid to score some greasy goals. See you on Tuesday. You're welcome, Triple S. Oh, I hope everything's okay, Shannon. Aren't you tired? No, I feel good. Physically, I am. My arm actually got sore. I got golfer's elbow 9 years ago, but in my non-dominant hand. So I'm not in my right arm, but my left arm. And it was through bowling because I was trying a new technique where I was bowling and I was kind of bracing myself, swinging out with my left arm. And I did it so violently, so much that I actually got golfer's elbow. It acted up to me at the end of the middle of the third round. So I didn't want to make excuses, but it was painful. So I brought a massage gun on the course with me on day 4. And I was actually massaging it between between shots. So again, not an excuse. I was easily the worst golfer on the trip, but the arm injury certainly didn't help. What kind of sushi do I think I'm going to eat? Salmon sashimi, and lots of it. It was warm. It was between 27 and 33 degrees the whole time. Oh, Brian, I miss you all. CCC Crew are welcome in my house. Brian, you were the host with the most. I'm gonna give you the gritty for that. And I think it was C Edits who actually cut that for me. So thank you for that video, I think. So thank you, Brian. Thank you for your legendary hospitality. You are a legend for sure. Yes, I like to say I'm the most energetic 51-year-old man in the world. No, not in the world, but marvel might be too strong of a word, but people have told me that they're impressed with my energy, my capacity is the word I get a lot. My capacity to do all that I do. And it sounds like I'm showing off, but you guys know, don't get me started on my whole thing about people who complain they're too busy. People aren't too busy, you guys. People are poor time managers. They spend more time filling up their Google calendars, color coding categories and everything than they do actually prioritizing. And then being busy, complaining about being busy becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can always make time and for the things then people you love. It might not be the exact amount of time that you want to spend with those people, but you can still make the time for those things and people that you love. So I will get off my soapbox right now, but you guys have heard me talk about it. I know Adrian has heard me talk about that before many, many times. Yes, it should be a great view. Hey, Cats and Rats, nice to see you. No, DeBrusque, we signed as a free agent, Calvin. I'm not going to go to two-handed bowling, but Jacob wants to make Kayla a two-handed bowler. Tiger Bomb is my friend. Okay, I will go find him. I'll call him now. I do like a Bury. Really hot in Victoria, yes. I do think that the Canucks are going to go into training camp with this roster. Thank you, Simon, for the compliment. Take care, Calvin. Clay works really hard. Thank you, Robbie. Why, did someone say I wasn't? I didn't? Clay's favorite quote. What was that? Oh, well, the time management one. Have a great night, Charlie. Say good night to Charlie, for sure. Was there a time in your kids' lives that you couldn't keep this type of YouTube schedule? Yeah, I only started this type of YouTube schedule once Jacob was out of high school. No, yeah, and once we were confident that Kayla had the support she needed. Yeah, and I would hate to think I would hate for anyone to think I was a bad father spending more time on YouTube than I was spending with my kids. But given how independent they are, how smart they are, how trusting they are, Gail's schedule, my personality, Gail's personality, kids' personality, just the way I like to get things done. I'm very blessed that I'm able to, during the peak of the season, to go 5 nights a week without fail and go to games and bowl and run my religious ed and work and have family time. And for 5 years doing my master's. It's not a flex, but it is indeed what I did for 5 years. Actually, my favorite quote is people won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Again, people won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's a really great ministry quote in that you can't start preaching in and teaching people if they can't trust you. Stay hydrated. Indeed. Well, I'm going to go for sure. Do you have confidence in Vander Kane? Yep. I think he's going to do good for us. And I'm not sure if Gerald is still here. Now, I'm going to go. So thank you, everyone, for being here. My next show is on Tuesday night, unless we do a surprise Canucks After Dark tomorrow night, but I highly, highly doubt it. Thanks to everyone who donated. Like I said, Fangirl and Swervin Irvin, they finished tied for first on the fictional leaderboard with 750 points, followed by Dino with 625, Skytrain Alfred with 500, and then Brian Blingy Choi with 375. All right, friends, I am going. I hope to see you Tuesday night for my next stream. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. It's interesting. Earlier tonight, I had a policeman knock on my door, and he told me that he was looking for a man with one eye. So then I said to him, maybe use both of your eyes, and you'll probably find him a lot quicker. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.